Mr. Transformers 96 here with another Transformers custom figure. This time it is Dreadbot from Transformers The Last Night. So yes, I am doing quite a few Decepticon Transformer customs as of late. You've probably seen that I've posted 2 customs just, within the past week of my custom Nitro Zeus, my custom Mohawk. Here we have my custom Dreadbot. So I'm very excited. I'm doing the, Decepticons from The Last Night, and then my next custom will be Onslaught. So stay tuned for that. And that's actually my last figure that I would need to custom to complete my Decepticon team from The Last Night. All the Decepticons that go into that town looking for, trying to destroy the Autobots. So there you go, just finished Dreadbot, very excited about this. Dreadbot is a character that I've always wanted a figure of. However, I never considered doing it a custom because obviously we don't have a crowbar head sculpt, and that's the type of head sculpt that we need to do a Dreadbot custom. However, I got a lot of people asking me if I was going to do Dreadbot when I posted my pictures of Mohawk and Nitro, and when I posted my video of those two on YouTube and Instagram. I got a bunch of people asking me about Onslaught and Dreadbot here. So I really thought about it. I'm like, well, what would be the best thing to do for a head sculpt? So I did end up using the crankcase figure from, the Dark of the Moon. So the reason I did that is because the head sculpt on the Berserker figure is also crankcase, so it would have the same type of look. However, I wanted it to be different. I didn't want this figure to necessarily be just a repaint of Berserker with his dreads cut off. That wasn't what I was going for. I wanted a different head sculpt, but I wanted something similar. So that's why I went with this one. Not to mention, on this one, the dreads are not actually attached to his face. You can just unscrew his faceplate. Now, his neck is not actually ball jointed. He just has a swivel neck. So it presented a challenge because obviously this neck was ball jointed. So I had to do something to get it to attach to this neck. What I ended up doing was on his shoulders, on the Berserker figure, on his shoulders, he has these ball joints. I don't have them on right now, but he has these 2 sockets that go on with the little claws on them, and they're little claws that go up. And, I've got it right here. I've got a lot of Dread-like figures. Here you go. So he has these little things that are just ball jointed with little claws. So what I did was I popped these off, I cut the claws off, and I was able to use just the little socket joint and glued it to the back of his head, then, painted it all so it all fit in, and then was able to just pop it on. And therefore, he maintains a full range, which is excellent. Definitely wanted that because, I was worried at first, like, what to do. I'm very happy that the shoulder ball joints are the same size as the neck. It worked out perfect. Now, what I actually did to the figure, other than the paint, because I'll go over the paint, but how I actually got this look for Dreadbot is that, as you can see, I obviously used Berserker as the main base figure. I removed a lot, though. I removed the arm panels. I completely removed every back piece. I just cut the back pieces off. They don't actually just manually remove. I did have to actually cut them off. So I cut the entire backpack piece and the little hood section right here. I cut it all off, just threw it aside. This section, which does just pop off easily, the arm panels, I wanted them on his back because although I didn't want all that junk on his back, in the movie there are several shots where you can clearly see his door panels on his back. That's really the only visible car part that he has. So I wanted that still represented. And my original plan was just to glue them. However, I did end up doing the same type of thing that I did to get the neck joint on. I used those little claw sections, cut the claw off, and used the ball joints, glued them into the doors, and then there you go. So now these actually maintain a full ball joint, which is very nice. And then inside they are on a hinge as well, so I can do a lot more with these, and I wanted that extra range because obviously those joints are attached to the arm, so when I move the arm I wanted to be able to move the door panel to get it out of the way. And if you wanted, you could switch the sides of these and then just kind of wrap them around his bicep, and it wouldn't be very much on his back. I do prefer them a bit on the back, and not to mention I want to leave the Christmas lights open a bit so you can see them more. So that's basically what I did to actually, everything I did to get the figure like prepared, and then obviously I just painted it. And the painting was rather interesting because I wasn't quite sure what color he was supposed to be, and I was thinking that it was like kind of grays and stuff, and then I did some research. You know, I was thinking that obviously I knew what he transformed into. It was this kind of beaten up Volkswagen bus, which is light blue and completely covered in rust. So I thought that it was really just the back panels that had that. However, taking really close looks at all of the images that I could find of him in the movie, and I actually found some clear images of him in the movie, it was clear that he was actually fully blue, but you know, very much rusted, and he had some gray parts. But for the most part, he was blue. So I was kind of, I didn't really realize that when I first saw the movie. So once I got that, and you know, I was sure that that was his actual color, I painted him. I will be posting like a progress picture of how it came to be, but I paint on Instagram if you want to check that out. So I started off by painting just all the blue parts. I just painted all the blue panels. There were some things that I didn't want to paint blue, but I needed to paint because they had some red marking on them, like the hands, things like that. So you know, I did gray on the hands, did gray on the forearms, did gray on these sections of the legs, and then I painted everything blue, just all of the little panels, and I really just did what I thought would look good. You know, I didn't want to go overboard on the blue, but I wanted definitely enough there to you know, fully represent it. And you know, I left some pieces gray because I did want the in-between sections to kind of be gray, but I painted everything blue. And then with the rust, and it looks very cool when it's all just blue panels. It looks really clean and everything, but it actually looks very cool. So that's the reason that I mentioned I'll be posting a progress picture if you wanted to see that stage of it. And then I just went to town with the rust. Just got kind of like a beaten up brush that, you know, was out a little bit, wasn't very pointy. So then I was able to just dip it in the light brown, you know, wipe it on a piece of paper just to get most of the paint gone, and then just really kind of go to town on it and really try to get the edges of things mainly. And yeah, I think it turned out nice. I'm very happy with how it turned out. This is my first time adding rust to a figure, so you know, I was a bit nervous because I've never done it before, don't quite know how it's gonna look, and I think it looks really quite good. I'm very impressed with it. You know, for my first time doing something like this, I think it turned out nice. And then on the back, left those a little bit more blue because in the movie, his back panels definitely have more blue on them. So I, of course, rested them, but didn't go as extreme. But I'm very happy with this. I think that it turned out really nice as far as the paint's concerned. I even did the tires. I considered not doing them, but I decided to do the tires. And, you know, because I didn't want them to be clean and then the rest of them just to be, you know, all dirty. So that's why I did them. And then as far as the Christmas lights go, that was a detail on the figure that if you were going to do this custom and you really didn't want to deal with it, you could certainly just not do it. It's not going to really matter too much. However, I really like that detail from the movie. It's one of my favorite things about Dreadbot, so I certainly wanted it represented on the figure. I started off by just trying to find some small Christmas lights. I went to Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and at Hobby Lobby I was actually able to find some pretty small Christmas lights that looked pretty nice. I bought them, took them home, and realized they were just too big. Even though they were very small, they were too big. So I really couldn't find the proper size Christmas lights. So what I decided to do, and you know, I kind of went back and forth on what to do, but I finally ended up just getting like a wire section and little beads, little translucent beads, so they still looked like they had that translucent quality to them. Then just took the wire and you know, stuck it on, glued it, then wrapped it around twice at the top, and then did one kind of like diagonal one to get to the bottom, and did it 3 times at the bottom, glued all of that in place, and then I got the beads and just glued them on, you know, with super glue. To various spots on there. I actually think it looks very nice. I'm very happy with how that turned out because I was very worried. I didn't know what to do. You know, it was, I didn't know if I should just try to keep looking for Christmas lights or you know, just how to handle it. But I actually think it turns out very nice. I think that it's pretty recognizable what it is, you know, although it's not, they're obviously not Christmas lights, but I think anybody that looks at this knows what's going on there. And in the movie, obviously, the Christmas lights are so small that you really can't see the details of them, considering Christmas lights on a Transformer are going to be very tiny. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. It's actually my favorite part of this figure. I love looking at the Christmas lights on his arm. So very happy with that. let's give you a little comparison here with my Decepticon team so far. Oh, but first I did want to just show, I talked about this briefly, but here's kind of the crankcase custom I did. So you can kind of, you can kind of see the kind of what I've done with the two molds that are exactly the same basically, and how I've changed them, how I've made them different, and how I've, went about those two different customs. It's very cool to see these two together. I really do like to see them because they're so different in their design, but they're the same figure essentially, so that's kind of neat. Alright, now let me give you that comparison with the Decepticons so far. So here's my Decepticon customs from the last night specifically. Very nice. I think that they do all look quite cool together. You can see that Decepticon team finally forming. Because Hasbro's certainly not going to do it, so somebody had to do it. Very happy with this. I think that they look very cool together. You can throw in Megatron. This is just the standard release Megatron, but he does look very nice with them, and he is in scale too. That leader Megatron is in scale with the like, if you're just going to get the regular releases, with the Deluxe Barricade and the Voyager Nitro. He looks very nice. So overall, very happy with this. Very happy with how Dreadbot turned out. And like I said, I am working currently on that one dude, Onslaught. Yeah, I'm working on Onslaught as we speak. I just started it actually, so I've started like preparing the mold, because there's some things that I was going to change to it other than just the paint. So I started changing those things, and then I'm going to start adding the paint and getting everything done. I'm quite excited about that. That one I have planned out like 90% done. The only thing I don't know is the gun arm. If you guys have any suggestions of what gun to put on his arm, like which one looks like the one from the movie, if like from a different figure, I would certainly love to hear it, because I can't quite figure out which one to use. I really do need just to take a good solid look and figure it out already, because I have everything else planned for it, and I'm starting on production basically. So there you go. That's my custom Transformers Last Night Dreadbot figure. Let me know what you guys think of it. Let me know what you guys think of my Decepticon team that I'm forming as of now. And just so you know, my future customs, like I said, Onslaught is what's in the process right now. That's the one I'm starting on. And then I'm going to do some more Dreads, actually. I'm going to do a Crowbar custom, and I'm also going to do a Berserker custom. The Berserker I'm going to do on the old crankcase mold, not the new one, just because I happen to have a spare crankcase body without a head now, because I needed it for this. So I think I'm just gonna put the new Berserker head on the old crankcase figure and turn it into to Berserker. It might be fun, So there you go. That's my video talking about my Transformers Last Night Dreadbot custom figure. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.